Welcome to the Practice You podcast. My name is Elena Brower. Together, we'll explore and enjoy content and conversations around mastering transitions in our relations, our wellness, our careers, our families, and especially in our missions and visions. You are invited to learn and love and listen with me. Welcome to Practice You. Welcome back to the podcast. I am here with, four of my idols in my business, if I'm honest. And we're just finishing up a trip together. It's a beautiful opportunity to get to know each other and to just relax in a beautiful place and learn in a very calm way what everyone else is doing, how they're going in their practice and their business, what works, what doesn't work, and then we just get to know each other as people. I thought it might be nice to just get us together, talk a little bit about where you're coming from, the transition that you two couples have made into this business, and why it matters for you going forward as a way to constantly get better at navigating transition. How has this business taught you that? So I'm here with the Goddards and the Bybees.
We need some new idols.
We need some new idols.
Upgrade.
So Roxanne and Natalie are actually sisters. And Natalie ended up marrying Andy Goddard. We're going to get your story first. Are you the older sister or the younger sister?
Older.
Uh-huh.
A bit older.
And Roxanne is saying she's wiser. And Roxanne is married to James Bybee, who was one of the first people who came up to me early on when I first went to a doTERRA event and was like, dude, are you the yoga lady? And my team really likes you. The bag lady. Totally. Anyway, so Natalie and Andy, I would love to hear how you met, first of all. And then I want to hear about your transition into the business and how that has taught you how to navigate the rest of your life since.
Well, I was engaged to another guy early on.
Oh, that's a good story.
And I'm so grateful that my mom passed away during that time, and it really woke me up to life. That was a huge transition for me, for us. And I woke up to what I really valued. And this guy didn't quite match up with some of my newfound values. And so grateful that I met Andy's dad on a convention. Kind of like the conventions we have.
Fell in love with him, but couldn't have him. So son was second.
I loved him. He was so amazing. I loved to hear him talk, right? He was so engaging, and I wanted to get an internship where he was writing Highly Effective Families for Covey, and then his son shows up in the picture 5 months later, and I saw him, and I just felt how deeply he felt. And it was all uphill from there. I mean, downhill. It was all smooth. It was all flow.
It was all awesome.
From
Transition
there.
continued.
Yes.
Beautiful.
And that was awesome. And our transition into doTERRA, mine was just, I went to a class thinking, I'll be right back, honey. You know, I'm going to sit on the back row. I'll hop out. And yet, when I got there and they were passing the oils around, the peppermint just knocked my socks off, the frankincense. Pay attention, Natalie, pay attention. So I transitioned right into it there. Had some blocks about network marketing. And as I'm, getting ideas and impressions of who to share with, the thought was, immediately to these impressions, I'm thinking, God, I don't do network marketing. Like, why are you telling me this? And I really struggled with transition, but immediately back it was, Natalie, I wanted this for you, but you can give it to someone else. You can pass on it. And so it was in that moment that I decided I wanted it. If God wanted this for me, and if he saw how good it was, then I wanted to choose it. And so I transitioned really right in that spot. And then it was a process from there. But Andy came in. Your transition's amazing.
So I was the egotistical, smart husband who knew better than her.
Oh, yes.
And I knew the oils were just a snake oil placebo type thing. And there was no science behind it. So I was the one who saw her throwing money away as she was giving away these samples of helichrysum and deep blue and like,
The
wow,
most expensive
the most
ones,
expensive,
of course.
But the results that we started seeing in our family and then with our friends, I couldn't argue with. Undeniable, massively improved. Health improved, emotions. The family was just more grounded. And so I finally opened my mind a little bit to the oils. And then I started seeing people, our check started to grow, and I started seeing people on our team starting creating income. And eventually Natalie's check caught up with mine, and then it doubled and tripled mine. And so that got my attention too. And
That was like a $2,000 a month.
Right.
that's right.
And you had the impression to literally burn the ship, right? Like,
Yeah, I
let go.
I had a design firm at the time that I was running, and there was a lot of ego around me being the provider for the family, and so that was a fun transition to be open to creating together and being partners in that. But yeah, I think Natalie, to her credit, really opened that space and invited me in and said, I want you to partner with me. So she made it a lot smoother than it could have been. So I think you were about 10 months in when I jumped in full time. So.
And this is going back to what year?
2008 is when you started. 2009 is when I joined full time.
So it's been 10 years, really since the advent of doTERRA.
Yes.
Quite a journey.
Oh, full of transitions.
Yeah. And if you're listening, Natalie and Andy are two of the very, very top leaders of doTERRA. My community looks at me and they're like, oh, she's a top leader. And I'm like, no. A little speck of dust.
They won't say this, so I will.
Yes.
A third of the company that changes the world flows through them.
Yes.
From the moment they said yes and opened to that transition, it opened a flood. And 1.2 and counting million people have the oils in their home because they said yes.
James Bybee, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for that. I actually did not know that statistic, so that's very helpful for
They're not going to tell
for me and for our listener. That makes me want to cry, just a little tear. Wow.
It's a gift.
As they sit in front of me, we're tucked away in a conference room in the little hotel where we've just finished our trip, and they're sitting in front of me, both of them holding each other's hands like they've just met. and James Bybee is holding my James's hand. Okay, Roxanne and James, I would love to hear how you guys transitioned into this work. Now, obviously, Roxanne, you're Natalie's sister, so I'm assuming, Natalie, you signed up Roxanne. Is that how that went? No, she signed up James. Let's hear it, mister.
So, otherwise known as Van Man, right?
Van Man.
Van Man, I lived in a van down by the river. We did. And there's a crazy video out there that you can Google tells the story, so I don't really have to tell it, but I'll just tell highlights.
Tell us how to find the video.
So if you
please.
Google James Bybee Van Down by the River,
James Bybee, Bybee, Down by the River. Van Down by the River.
you will find a Chris Farley-like story about transition.
Okay.
Big time. All right? So, my sister-in-law, who knew nothing about creating wealth, who poo-pooed health and wellness and all kinds of things in a previous lifetime, where we, went down that road, network marketing, all that, came to me and said, you need to look at this, experience it. You need this transition. And we said,
Sure.
yeah, whatever, you're smoking dope. And I knew she didn't smoke dope, so I was really intrigued. It's a crazy thing when somebody comes to you, and again, she didn't, from a credentialed perspective, have much credibility, but I was intrigued by her intention.
Yes.
And her belief, and the fact that she consistently came back to us.
Yes.
So I said yes. My wife said no.
Rox, you said no?
Uh-huh.
Why was your no a no?
We had prior experience with
Years.
network marketing, and
Years
some
prior.
people don't know what that is. It just means direct marketing, where you're selling a product to a person instead of having a storefront. And that experience, when we left it, I felt like I left all my friends that were in that community, and I saw myself having to do that again with this potentially, and I didn't understand it at the moment, but I was like emotionally not able to handle the idea of that loss again.
Got it.
So I just like, no.
Yeah, so there's transitions that can be painful. Well, they're all painful, but there's transitions that, where you, in a sense, are forced out of something, away from something that you value, that you feel is important in your life, not seeing the greater plan, what the future brings, into new transitions. So the old transition experience can make you afraid of the new transition experience, and that's where she was. I suppose I was a little bit, but I was like Andy with ego and different things, and I knew about health and wellness, and I knew about, how to make income and everything, and then I woke up and went, wait, I don't know anything because I'm living in a van down by the river. And so that made me go, I'm pretty desperate right now. So what I did actually was kick the tires on 3 different network marketing companies at the same time, because what I said was, well, wait a minute. Network marketing is actually a great vehicle, and it's a really good vehicle. It can be a really good vehicle to transition, right? And so you look at that, and it opened me up, and I said, okay, tell me what's possible with this. And Natalie told me she was completely wrong, but it still inspired me.
What do you mean she was
Well,
wrong?
we joke about how we were like, you got to get a founder's position. Somehow we had calculated that our first check was going to be like $40,000, right?
Right.
Our first founder's check was like $1,200, right? But still, it was inspiring, right?
Totally.
So I was like,
It panned out in the end.
oh no, my gosh, this year it was,
pans out.
Zip it.
So anyway, so I just,
Can I just say for our listener that a founder of the company is somebody who started with the company at the very beginning, who built the first sort of certain...
the first 25 golds.
The first 25 golds in a certain market. Exactly.
As new markets open, they open new founders markets.
So, for example, in the countries that are just opening now, like even France,
Russia.
the Philippines, Russia, Colombia, Guatemala, these are all places where to become a founder is actually still up for grabs.
Right, and that just means the company takes 1% of the earnings that year, puts it into a pie, and slices it like 25 ways.
Amongst the founders.
Amongst those 25 people, and then, so every year, that growth, you get to share 1% of that, increases every year. It can become quite significant. So from a financial standpoint, which again, finance, there's just a tool, right?
Yep.
A tool for transition, either personally or to help create transition for others.
Yes.
Which is the magic of what we do as a company, and is also the magic, really the true, vehicle behind network marketing. I mean, that's truly what network marketing is for, to be able to create an equal opportunity for transition.
And in real terms, that money, that 1%, let's say that the company sets aside to give to the first 25 people who rank gold, that's the money that was saved by not having a middleman between the product and the consumer. So just so that that's clear for the listener.
Yes. We're not marketing, we're not putting out trying to get promotional stuff in stores. We're not paying people to put it in stores, to merchandise it in stores, any of that, right? That just loses the ability to be able to tell people the story of how this essential oil, if you buy it, creates community around the world, right? It creates, what did we just do this week? We went to children with disabilities in Mexico, a place that's struggling to stay alive, relies on donations, and we go in because of people purchasing quality essential oils that change their life so that those people can transition into new phases of their life that they wouldn't have. They would be left in a corner.
Yeah. A lot of those people don't even have running water in their homes. They definitely don't have ramps for the kids who need a ramp and a wheelchair. It opens up so many doors. Yeah. This business model. So you're in a van down by the river.
Yeah.
Your wife is saying no. Your sister-in-law is saying yes. You're kind of a yes. What happens next?
So she tells me that someone's going to come out and teach a class for me because I don't know jack about essential oils. I am a person who uses herbs. I'm a person who helps people go through the transition of unhealth to health. Mm-hmm. So I get that, but I don't really know anything about essential oils and how that connects into all that. So she's going to send someone out. She just says it's a guy and he knows about essential oils. I don't really know anything about who he is, right? And he comes out and I'm feeling a little bit pressured, but I'm scared to tell anyone I know. So I'm going to go visit all the stores in the area, all the health stores, all the yoga studios. I'm going to all the chiropractors. I'm going to all the acupuncturists, everybody. And I'm going in and saying, hi, and here's a flyer, and you'll be there, right? Right? So, of course, a bazillion people are going to come. Well, is that brave, really?
Yes.
Yeah. It's not, because I don't really know those people. There's nothing to lose there, right? There was something to lose with the people who I really served every day in my community, right? So yeah, you can do that. But I did that, and then I found this cheap, teeny little hotel room, and the guy shows up, and lo and behold, it's an owner of doTERRA named Dr. Hill.
No.
Yes. He taught my first class.
No.
And it was like lines out the door. And from there, I was presidential like the next day. No, that's not what happened. What happened was nobody showed up. Nobody. Well, a mother and her daughter came in and realized they were in the wrong place. So I took back their oil sample and let them leave. And then he and I sat, and he was gracious in that we had this one-on-one that where in his mind he was going, what the hell is going on here? And he went back to Utah, told Natalie and all the owners, there is nothing there. And he was right at the moment. Things changed because then I realized I care about people. Wow. I care about the people around me. They need the oils. And I need to make sure my family starts using the oils. And I asked my upline to come and teach a class.
Right.
Maybe I didn't ask. Maybe I demanded. I don't know. She came, right? And we prepared for that. And then Natalie helped me see and get inspired about founders and getting a gold position. And when I got to that gold level, she had been in the closet using essential oils, Roxanne had, and began to have her own experiences and jumped in at gold. And we have never looked back.
Beautiful. 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 And now you have a team of roughly how many people?
Andy can probably tell you better than I can because he looks at numbers, but I don't know. It's hundreds of thousands. Let's put it that way.
Wow.
So, all over the world.
All over the world.
Mm-hmm. How has it been with them under your wing, these two troublemakers?
They've never been under our wing. They've always been flying high.
Oh, wow.
I feel like they chose in at that point.
Yep. And then they went.
Yep.
Rox, tell me how it was for you to say yes finally at when your husband got you all the gold.
It helps me to think about people who, when you share an essential oil with them, they look at you like you're crazy.
Yes.
Because I was in that place. I was very much thought he was Looney Tunes. And he kept saying, you know what? Those headaches that you're having every week, why don't you just try the oils for those? And I was like, oh, could you just shut up about the oils? I just don't want to hear it anymore, right? And so kind of out of, I would just do it, you know. And I'd put a little bit of Deep Blue, which is one of the oils that's for pain, on the back of my neck. And
just to prove him wrong.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it actually helped. And I was like, oh, didn't take away the headache right away. But I thought, well, at least this makes me less mean while I'm experiencing this pain, you know.
Right.
And because we had 3 little kids at the time, and I was trying to work a part-time job and stuff. So that Deep Blue, I used it over and over and over again. I mean, I remember thinking, I'm going to have to actually physically buy a truckload of this stuff because just my whole life is going to be, you know, using these for my headaches.
Was it the rub or the oil?
It was actually the oil. The rub did not exist at that point.
I got it.
And what happened, though, is after me using it extremely consistently, about a month and a half in, I just literally didn't have the headaches anymore. Wow. They never came back.
Wow.
And it was really that moment that I thought to myself, I'm going to have to really eat my words. This is going to, I have to tell people about these oils.
Yes.
They're like amazing.
The worst part is that also it's not just your husband, it's also your older sister.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She was right.
She was right. They were both right, which is kind of
But
painful,
unlike in my family, they actually liked each other, so it actually worked out well. I couldn't say Natalie liked me at that point, but now we're like, you know,
it took a minute.
Sister brother. But the thing that is interesting about Roxanne was she didn't dive in going, oh my gosh, these work, so now I got to sell them. She went, oh my gosh, every mother on the planet needs to have this tool. And I don't care if you want it or not, I'm going to make sure you experience it and understand that you need it and what you can do with it. Yeah. And she was on a mission and has been ever since. The passion has never died. When you watch her with the oils and with people, it's been consistent for 10 years.
They have changed everything. So, oh my gosh. So yeah, I literally couldn't contain it, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's fun to be able to be part of the journey at that point.
Right.
And been a blast to watch families that felt the same way I did initially, which was like, you're weird, and then evolve into, oh shoot.
These work.
We have to use these all the time now.
Yeah.
You know, so it's kind of a fun place. But
well, the most fun place, really, and everybody here would agree, is to watch other people find it, accept the transition in their life, make the transition, and have success beyond what they thought they were worthy of. Because I know we thought that. And then to watch them teach other people the same thing and have the same experiences. It's just crazy.
I was in a really broken emotional space and that was probably the other reason I said no. You know, emotionally I was shut down because the van by the river means, you know, we were living in a place in our lives and had so much debt that I actually was thinking, how did we get ourselves here? You know,
we were in scarcity.
We're not like newlyweds. We have 3 kids. We should have things financially together. What is wrong with us? Why can't we get this to work out, you know, our life, right? And so I just had absolutely no ability to dream, no ability to hope that we'd ever get out of the van down by the river, which was basically a very old mobile home that was teeny tiny, and we had 3 little kids in there. And it was a broken down old mobile home park where all these single scary people lived. And like people didn't want to drive in there to just even drive to our house because it was that kind of like, am I going to come out of there okay? You know, it was not a great place to live with 3 little kids.
And you were working.
Yeah.
Wiping people down.
I had to take a job so that we could make all of our minimum payments on all of our credit cards. And
you say have to because she didn't want to and hadn't had to before.
Yeah. So I'd been able to be home with the kids while my husband worked, and at this point I had to find a job that could give us just an extra $1,000 a month. That was literally the difference between what we had and what we needed. And the only job, this was not what I took, you know, what I went to college for. This was not my plan. You know, but it was, what can you do at night when your husband gets home from work at about 6 o'clock on Friday and you know you have the weekend to work somewhere else? And it was, so I took a job taking care of the elderly because I could work Friday night all night, and then I could come home and be with my kids Saturday and be really tired, and then go back to work Saturday night and work all night and, you know, come home Sunday. So it was crazy. It was exhausting and super depleting emotionally, you know, and that's where I was in that transition when this all came into our life. And so for me to eventually see that transition didn't need to be our life, we didn't have to get stuck there, was so huge. And I just, you know, all the success that we're talking about, I just hope that the listener knows that, like, this is available to anybody, absolutely anybody. This is not just, you know, because we're special or something like that. This is absolutely a super viable opportunity for anyone. So if you're in a transition like I was, where you felt closed and you had no hope financially, no hope of dreaming bigger, you know, just grab on to something like doTERRA that can give you hope financially and to get out of the debt and the sadness.
I had no idea that had happened. I'm a little speechless at the moment.
Well, and it wasn't just the weekend. She would take shifts during the week. So she would take shifts during the week doing this. And I mean, she's giving you, the picture was she would go and take care of people that everyone else had dropped off and didn't want to think about. And she would wipe their bottoms, give them meds, listen to them at night, get them back into bed, wouldn't get much sleep, would come home and then homeschool her children all day long while I'm at work till who knows when. Then transition again to going and doing that, and do that several times during the week, all when it wasn't something that she chose to do. That makes a huge difference, right?
And it also makes a dent emotionally.
Yeah, that's why you feel broken.
I'm so proud of you. Aww. Gosh, I always looked up to you and thought you must have had just such a really cool ascent, and really it's a real story.
The best words are, it sucked. I mean,
it sucked.
Honestly,
it sucked.
That's the only way to describe it.
And now you're blessing so many lives with the work that you do with the oils.
It's a flow.
Yes, it's a flow.
Hold it in and throw it out.
Hold it in and throw it out. Yeah. Oh, good grief. The older sister has tears in her eyes from having watched this happen. I'm just so proud of all of you. I'm so proud to know you. I'm so honored to know you. I'm so honored to be here.
So the year that we went Blue Diamond, we thought, oh my gosh, like, it's so cool. And so we walked down the carpet at the gala, and then we turned around, and when this couple, the Bybees, walked down that carpet as diamonds, Natalie and I were just total
bawling.
wrecks.
Yes.
Because we knew what that meant.
Yes.
For them, for their families,
yes.
For their future.
Yes.
There's nothing better than watching your team succeed.
Yep.
Especially when you love their guts out.
Yeah.
Amazingly enough.
I think I'm going to commit right now to doing a couple more interviews with each of you as we go forward, if that's cool.
As long as you get on my podcast.
I'll get on your podcast. I'll get on your podcast. I'm just so thankful to each of you for talking to me today. I'm sure that anyone in doTERRA who listens to this is going to be moved also, as I am. Andy has something else to share.
Well, just one thing I'm noticing in almost every story I've heard, as people transition from one space to another, from one choice to another, at some point there's a recognition that there's a better way. Mm. So for us, it was, Natalie was going through depression, and she was looking for a better way to heal from the inside out. For James, he was saying, there's got to be a better way to provide for my family.
I'm not doing it. I'm not bringing it home.
Mm.
And, for me, it's like, man, is there a better way to inspire even the owners? Like, as I listen to their stories, every single one of them at some point, they were with other network marketing companies, with other oil companies, and the wall they all came up against was, there's got to be a better way. Mm-hmm. So I would just invite the listeners to drop into their hearts and ask, is there a better way? Is there a better way to care for my health, my family's health, my financial needs, my emotional needs. Is there a better way?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I was inspired by, hearing Andy talk about that, because one thing that I think people forget, especially from our story, is you don't always have to come from a broken place to see a better way, right? In the sense that you have unique strengths and gifts that the world needs to experience, as you need to experience the world's. And the thing is how can you have the most impact with those unique strengths and abilities that no one else has or will have? So you're looking for a vehicle, right? And most people in the current kind of traditional job scenario, that vehicle's limited. The effect, the impact that they can have, the way that they can bring those gifts to the world, and then also receive, right? Because the whole thing is if you're not receiving, I have a hard time receiving, right? And it limits me. So it's not about just giving, it's about receiving. And a vehicle like doTERRA, which took an amazing vehicle called network marketing and plugged all the right ingredients like no other organization on the planet ever has. We don't even consider ourselves really a network marketing or direct sales company. We don't participate in all those associations or anything, because all we did was we recognized that's a vehicle. We plugged these ingredients in, and now the world can change.
Right.
Prime Meridian. We'll have a whole podcast on that.
Oh, we are. We're going to have many.
But I mean, that's what I'm just saying. You look at what the change that's happening and what's going on. It's because you plug the right things into a vehicle and you go with that. And I invite everyone, whether you think you've got, most people who have money don't have time. Most people don't have time, don't have money. There's a million different ways we can look at it, but all of us could do more, like Andy says, and you need a vehicle. This is it.
Is there a better way, and what is the vehicle?
Yeah, and even, this vehicle will lead you. You get this vehicle solid, get it figured out, get it works, get that impact, that influence going, it will lead you to more ways.
Yes.
It won't limit you.
Yes.
Nobody in doTERRA, in fact, when I see people in doTERRA, they're expanding.
Yes.
The people who get it, they're ever expanding.
Yes.
Doing more.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think I'll close with the fact, I think this is what you're sort of leading toward, and what we're all experiencing and seeing, witnessing, is that anyone who has had any modicum of success in this business is now starting to see that they have other ways that they can serve that never would have come to them without this exposure to this business. And that, I think, is what drew me to want to talk in this little round table today.
I'm going to give you an amen, sister.
Amen, sister. Thank you guys so much. What a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.